Hey guys, it's Tuesday. You're watching Puck Time with the Prez. I'm Lawrence Presman. A whole ton of hockey games tonight. We're excited to go through all of them like always. We'll take apart 4 in depth, and then we'll get to the last minute of play where we'll take a look at all the other games. Today's guests, Alex B. Smith and Carmine Bianco. And well, huge day yesterday on the trading block. Lots of trades. I think there were something like 30 plus altogether, give or take, draft picks, etc., etc. Winners and losers. Let's really get through that quick because I want your thoughts. Alex, go ahead.
Well, one of the teams I thought that was a winner was the Edmonton Oilers. I liked how they were able to add Tyler Ennis. The guy's got a great scoring touch. Finally get someone to pair along with McDavid moving forward. Most of the teams in the Metropolitan pretty much seem to have loaded up all offensively or different things that they needed. There's only you got 7 points, 8 points that separate first from sixth place. So all those teams making necessary moves. The big loser in my book was my team, the Chicago Blackhawks. Pretty much getting a bunch of nothing, exchanging Robin Lehner for Malcolm Subban and a pick, getting a compensatory pick for Eric Gustafsson going to Calgary. They should have been able to get a lot more for that. So really disappointed to see the Hawks kind of fall pretty much empty with some of the moves that they made.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Carm, I agree. Edmonton really did well yesterday. I think the winner ultimately was Tampa Bay in the sense that they just covered every hole. I mean, this is a perfectly built hockey team, and they face my Toronto Maple Leafs tonight. What did you think?
Yeah, a couple takebacks from it is I think the Carolina Hurricanes had a very good trade deadline.
Yes.
You have to look at it. Brent Pesce injured, Dougie Hamilton fractured left leg, and they went out and got from the New York Rangers Brady Shell, if I'm pronouncing his name right, and from New Jersey. Sammy Vatanen. So it's good for them. This is a team that lost some defense and picked them up. Obviously, yes, Edmonton Oilers, they solidified that line up front. And you look at I can never pronounce his name, Anastasio. The guy was a 30-goal scorer last year. 27 of those goals were 5-on-5. So this guy can find the net. They just had more scoring. Yeah. So it's got to help him. Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas Golden Knights picking up Lehner like we talked about. He's not going to unseed Marc-Andre Fleury, but he's going to push him. It's one of those things with goalies. When they feel a little threatened, they play a little bit better. And Fleury hasn't been fantastic this year, his normal self, and maybe this is what they need. It's a bit of insurance, but it's something that actually helps them, especially going into the playoffs. It's more than, as Dave Koken said, it's more than an insurance package. Little disappointed the Leafs didn't do anything, but I think
What do you mean? They got Kelly Rosen. I thought it was the biggest trade of the day. Yeah. He's going to do so good on their farm team.
Unfortunately, they're cap tied. There's not much they could really do. So, and they made their trade a little earlier. So when they picked up Clifford and Campbell. So, if they did that at the trade deadline, we'd be talking about the Leafs picking up an adequate backup goalie and someone who offers some grit. So they did it a week or two earlier. So we'll give them credit there. Not a lot of teams made moves. I still think the Leafs should have probably picked up Simmons instead of Buffalo. I still don't think the Sabres are making the playoffs. I know I'm sporting the jersey, but it's what it is. They could have picked up a little bit more grit in that Leaf lineup. But all in all, it was I think it's still non-eventful trade deadline. It's not like the ones of years past where we saw these big deals, but if anything, I believe the Hurricanes were the winners of this trade deadline. My opinion.
Carmine Bianco from WagerTalk.com, Alex B. Smith from Sportsmemo. You're watching Puck Time with the Prez, and let's take care of some business, boys. $2 Tuesdays over at WagerTalk and Sportsmemo, and Carmine Bianco is the $2 Tuesday for today at WagerTalk.com. You can head over there. He's got a 5 play in hockey tonight. It's yours for only $2. If you've never used WagerTalk or Sportsmemo before, today's the day. $2. You don't even need to bet the play if you don't want. Consider it a tip, or check out how our guys write analysis. And every pick we sell comes with a paragraph or two on reasons why we're betting that pick, and today's no different. Carmine, you're on a massive run. Why don't you tell us about it and sell your $2, baby?
Yeah, no, I took yesterday off. I didn't have a play out. I didn't like that game.
I kicked myself all night because I love the over.
Yeah, you know what? I thought about taking the over there. I did say, and yesterday's show and opinion was, if you actually had to bet the game and you wanted to take something, then maybe just take Columbus -2.5 and get +210 on your money and just make it a fun bet more than anything. It was, one quick takeaway from that game is watching that game, and this applies to hockey teams as much as it applies to you guys who out there who bet and us who put out plays, is if you watched the Columbus after they scored that goal, it's like they won the cup. That team cleared the bench. That team celebrated in the corner. And think about when you're on a bit of a losing streak where
8 games
you lose 4 or 5 games in a row. Yeah, and they lost 8 games in a row. You lose 4 or 5 games in a row, and you look at the next day's card, and you aren't thinking about it with a clear head. You're looking at them like, what do I got to do not to lose today? I need to get a win. And this is how they affect. Think about it. When you have a losing streak and you win 1 or 2 games, you go 2-0 in a night. You feel like a load of bricks have been lifted off your shoulders. You're just so happy, and you're like, bring on tomorrow. And this was Columbus last night. They celebrated a win against the Ottawa Senators, but they celebrated a win because they needed it after 8 straight losses. And I don't care about some of their losses were in OT, their losses. They picked up a point. They needed that win. They got it.
Okay, so everybody, basically, I asked Carm to sell his $2 Tuesday play. He clearly stinks at sales, so why don't I just tell everybody, because I don't know what the hell you were talking about.
All right. I am on a 15-4-1 run. I've won my last 5 NHL best bet or 5% plays, 7-2 overall in the last week in NHL. Just running very good right now. I'm getting into a real good second half roll, and I can't wait. I look at some of these games now, and much like I was just talking about, the aforementioned,
okay, listen,
you can see things ahead of you.
Italian, man.
I'm loving it.
Italian.
Let's go, man.
Let the Jew take over on the sales. Oh, my God.
Tell me about
okay, brother. Carmine is 5-0 in his last 5 NHL plays, 7-2 in his last 9, 67% in his 5% top hockey plays this year, his 5% tonight, 67% in his top money line hockey plays. He's got a money line up tonight. It's $2, everybody. Head over to WagerTalk.com and check it out. And also Sportsmemo. Teddy covers, man. Dude's on a 12-2 all sports run. 12-2 in his last 14. He is 83% in his NBA since the All-Star break, and he is the $2 Tuesday over at sportsmemo.com, so check that out. Okay, boys, let's get straight to it. Lots of games on tap. Let's start with the Boston-Calgary game. In Boston, a -200, 205, and over and under of 6 in this game. And, Alex, I'll go to you first here. Calgary is zigzagging perfectly. They beat Detroit 4-2, so now they're supposed to be losing in the zigzag. Boston's won 5 out of their last 6 games, 8 of their last 10, but they did lose a beatdown by Vancouver, 9-3. And I look at this game and I think to myself, I can't lay 205 here. And I don't even want to take Boston in regulation. I'm a little bit worried about Boston. I think they're likely A tired team. I could see them hit the skids for a week or so before they put it back together. I think Calgary is live here, but if I were to bet this game, I would take over the total of 6 goals. What do you think, brother?
Yeah, I completely agree. It would definitely be on the over with the spot. You got, like I said, these two teams just played 4 days ago, and you saw 6 goals combined in the first 20 minutes. This is definitely a spot where I'd be looking at the over. Like I said, couldn't look at the side at any point.
Carmine Bianco, sir. Alex had to leave for a sec. Somebody's coming to his house. He has to open the door. Carm, regale us, my brother. What do you like in this game?
When those teams play on WagerTalk on the over, that total was at 5.5, and I just did not understand where the bookmakers were going with that number. And I think it was a 5.5, 6, and it was 3-3 at the end of the first. It was done. No matter whether you got it at 6 or whether you got it the opener at 5.5. It was a winner. Now, they only scored one more goal the rest of the game. They only had 25 shots on net combined through those 2 games. And it's probably what should have happened in the game. I'm leaning under here. I'm also leaning, believe it or not, I'm leaning the Calgary Flames. This team, for some reason, when they hit the road, can win. They've won 11 of their last 15 on the road. And never 2 in a row. They just win. They're playing well. Another thing about the Bruins is, and we talk about this with teams, sometimes, forget about that 9-3-1. I understand, people are going to say they're going to come home. They're going to play better. They're coming back from an Eastern road trip, 4-game trip. Sometimes that first game at home isn't always the best one, regardless of the fact that you lost like 9-3. But sometimes when you've got a nice streak going and you lose a game, you follow it up with another loss. We saw it with Tampa Bay. They won 11 in a row. They lost in Vegas and then went and got blown out in Arizona the next night or the night after. It's one of those things. You play at such a high level when you're on a winning streak that when that bubble gets burst, you lose a couple in a row before you pick it up. We saw it with the Washington Capitals, a nice big streak, and then they lose 3 or 4 in a row. So, I feel the Flames are a live dog tonight, and I like the under in this game.
Carmine Bianco from WagerTalk.com. He's the $2 Tuesday. He's got a 5% NHL money line bet up at WagerTalk.com. It's yours for $2. And Carm, although I disagree with you on the under, I think you explained Calgary really well. I agree, man. I think they are a live dog tonight. And I'll tell you who else I think is a live dog, and I know this is shocking, but the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I'm going to tell you why. Toronto is plus 160 against Tampa Bay, and I'm not going to bet this game. I'm going to say it flat out. I'm just going to enjoy watching it and cheer my Leafs on. But the bottom line is we saw the Leafs play what is now their second worst game of the season against Pittsburgh in that back-to-back. And then they came back and really played a Stanley Cup winning style of hockey. They shut Pittsburgh out. They played an unbelievable game. And then they laid the egg of eggs. Could not have been worse on Saturday night in front of the nation at home, just completely and totally humiliated. I look at this game and I think to myself, if Toronto is going to play their best game of the season, it's going to be tonight. The problem is, I don't know if that's actually going to be good enough. Tampa Bay is just a better team than Toronto, and it's why it's keeping me off of this play. I do like over the total of 7, but I don't bet over 7, so it's just a lean for me. But I think Toronto and Calgary as a parlay, $10 is going to pay you a whole lot of bank. So I think Toronto is live. Alex, where are you at?
I like the under 7 here. We've seen 7s pop up often with this particular matchup with Tampa Bay and Toronto, obviously because they have 2 prolific offenses, and we've seen lapses in their defense more so on Toronto's side. The last time this game closed at a 7 was back last year. It ended up being a 3-1 final. 3 of the last 5 meetings have gone under the total. And like I said, I think we're going to see a dynamite effort from the Leafs tonight. We know how great Vasilevsky's been playing. I just don't think we're going to see 8 goals here. I think it's going to fall a bit short. So you're laying a little bit of a price, but I think under 7 is the way I will be going here.
You know, Carm, what worries me really is that Tampa Bay has come off 2 losses in a row. They lost 7-3 to Arizona. They lost 5-3 to Vegas. And, you know, they're going to turn it around. It's just whether they're going to turn it around tonight. I stick with the fact that I like the Leafs as a live dog, but I won't be getting to the window. Where are you going, brother?
Yeah, no, I get the whole live dog thing, and sometimes I look at fading a team when they're coming home off of a road trip. This was only a 3-game trip for Tampa, and they've won 11 in a row at home. You know, the story always is with the Leafs, and it's not me making fun of the Leafs or being hard on them, but we just keep hearing sound clip after sound clip of the team saying, or the coach saying, that was an embarrassing game. We need to be better. Maybe we need to be embarrassed. You know, you got guys like Marner saying, it's on me, I got to play better. Everyone is saying they've got to play better. I've yet to see the team hold one of those player-only meetings where maybe if there's a problem in that dressing room, maybe they can hash it out and get it done with. You know, that said, again, we're in a position where, much like when Toronto came back from that beating in Pittsburgh and played one of their best games of the season in shutting out Pittsburgh, it's one of those games where they played to the level of their opponents. And you look at some of their road games recently, losing to the Sabres, they played to that level. Losing to Montreal, played to that level. But look at some of the games, at the end of December. They went to Dallas. Dallas is a very good home team. They beat them. They went to Nashville. Nashville, a very good home team. A very good team defensively at home, beat them. They went to Winnipeg. They went to Minnesota, again, getting wins. The only loss in that was a mixed-in loss where they got blown out against Florida. I think that's what it was there. That was with Hutchinson in that, if I remember correctly, the backup goalie. So can they put that kind of effort? They're going to have to play their best hockey tonight to beat this Tampa Bay team. Are they a live dog? Yeah, plus 160. You're not going to see them plus 160 very often. I tend to agree with Alex on leaning on, when I see 7s, on leaning on the under. There, I think you're going to have to pay the juice. I don't even think a 7 will be available at game time. I think you'll find it'll be like 6.5, minus 120 on the over. I'm not going to touch the game. I'm going to watch it, of course. But if you're playing one of those Vivian parlays, I think Prez is right on that you could take the Leafs and Calgary, and the risk reward is a big one for you.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about other live dogs as well. Sportsmemo, guys, head over there and grab Teddy. $2 only. He's on a 12-2 all sports run. Teddy covers, one of my best friends in this industry and an incredible handicapper. You guys got to read his analysis as well. You can check him out for only $2 over at sportsmemo.com. And a quick shout out, guys. Friday, Dave Koch and Brian Leonard and myself will be doing the first show of the baseball season. The show is called First Pitch. We're going to be talking about how to bet baseball preseason games. Brian Leonard won his first baseball preseason bet last night, so a shout out to him. Carm, I'm going to go to you first on this New York Islanders-Rangers game. And, I find this game fascinating, and I'll tell you why. We have the Rangers at plus 115, the Islanders at minus 135. We have a total of 6. And I think we have both teams feeling really good right now for different reasons. New York Islanders just did a great job at the trade deadline. They were clearly one of the winners. Pajot's going to fit in really well on this team with his speed. And I think he's going to give them another scoring threat, which is something they need. Conversely, everybody expected Kreider to go, and he didn't. And they've signed him for a long stretch. And the bottom line is the Rangers need to sit here and think to themselves, okay, we are in this race. Our team is intact. We've won 3 in a row. We've won 7 of our last 8, 8 of our last 10. we got a shot at the playoffs, and we got a shot to go far because we might have the best goaltending tandem in hockey. I understand Sherskin's not playing tonight, but it really doesn't matter. Both goalies are absolutely outstanding. And the New York Islanders, they had a nice 4-game losing streak, but they beat San Jose and they beat Detroit. Now they picked up a few pieces for their run, and they've got to feel good about themselves too. On top of that, they've beat the Islanders already this year. I don't know what to do here. I mean, I feel like I can make a case for both teams. If I have to bet this game, I would take under the total. I think this game is going to be 3-2, 3-1 type hockey game. And in all seriousness, I wouldn't be surprised if either team wins. Carmine?
Yeah, obviously the Rangers goalie situation, they had 3 very good ones, or looked like 3 good ones. That injury because of the car accident to the regular starter, the rookie, he's gone for a couple of weeks. So it's going to be George Evan net tonight. He's really only won one of his last 4 games. Varlamov is in net for the Islanders. And, the funny thing is, here's a goalie who's 3-3 his last 7 starts, yet he has a goals against average of 1.95 in those starts. He's playing well. You got to take away that horrible road trip from the Islanders. 4 games in Nashville, Vegas, Arizona, and Colorado, and they scored a total of 2 goals. It's unbelievable. They just dried up. They just couldn't score. Come back, and sometimes you can only beat the teams they put in front of you, and they put in front of them the Sharks and Red Wings. They got a couple wins, and like we talked about the aforementioned Columbus Blue Jackets. You get a win, and it's something that they're going to build off of. Before that, they actually looked good to start the month of February off, so maybe they can finish it off with some wins. I like the Islanders tonight. It's one of those things where I think they're playing well. I think they're playing well defensively, and I think the advantage lies with them in goaltending tonight. And because of that, I'm going to take them at home.
Alex B. Smith from Sportsmemo.com. What do you like in this game, my friend?
Yeah, I look at the Islanders here as well. They've won 5 straight at home, and I get that the Rangers have been playing great. I've been cashing tickets with them. I had them as my Game of the Month winner on Friday, beating Carolina. But like you said, Shesterkin was the hot guy at net. He's out for at least 2 weeks with that non-displaced rib fracture. Pavel Buchnevich, who also was in that car accident, he's out for this game. Re-signed. He was actually missing the skate yesterday because he's dealing with the flu. He may not play tonight. So those 3 key pieces that we're talking about, the reasons why moves weren't made, the Rangers basically staying pat, saying we're going to go for it and make a run for the playoffs, won't be a factor in this game tonight. So definitely look at the Islanders here in this spot. It's a big rivalry spot here, and I think they'll be able to get 2 points at home.
Guys, just a quick reminder, today is the last day for the Tony Finn baseball season and playoff sale. The regular price is $10.95. It's yours for $695. That's $400 off of the regular price, and if you don't get this package, you're going to regret it. We're going to be talking about Tony's baseball all summer long. The guy made 134% return on investment last year. It just doesn't get better than that. And he's done it year in and year out in baseball. It's his best sport. It's funny, Carm, you do baseball, and Alex, you do baseball. And I'll call Tony up on the phone. I'll be like, hey, what do you like tomorrow in baseball? And you know what he does? He's like, this umpire is the ump behind the plate, and his strike zone is XYZ. And I'm like, yeah. Well, what about the pitchers? Oh, the umpire at third base likes to call this. And I'm like, what about the teams? No, the umpire. Blah. I mean, it's like, Tony, there's other variables. Nope. It's about the umpire. Anyway, we all have our systems. And Tony is just so freaking good in baseball. It is ridiculous. 134% return on investment. $400 off of his regular season price. Head over to WagerTalk.com. Use the promo code Tony695. It's the last day of that deal. Edmonton on the road to play Anaheim. And Alex, I'll go to you first in this game. Yeah, man, look, we spoke about it. You mentioned Edmonton at the beginning of the show, how well they did at the trade deadline, and I agree. And you know what I'm looking forward to is seeing Mike Green play, because Mike Green has always been a very, very good skater and a great playmaker from back there. And, you know, he's playing with the best skater in all of hockey now in Connor McDavid. And, you know, I don't know. I think Mike Green's year in Detroit so far has been a little bit of an aberration. This guy's a really good hockey player. I grant you he's 34 years old, but hey, Joe Thornton's 40, so he's got 6 more just to get there. I think he's going to be a difference maker. I think he's going to be one of those guys that will have really flown under the radar at the trade deadline. Anaheim plus 131. The over and under here is 6, and I'm not getting to the window on this game at all, but I do like Edmonton in regulation here. Alex, you're getting a little bit of money as well on that. Where are you going?
Yeah, I like Edmonton in regulation as well as the over for the first period and the full game. Like I said, Edmonton making great moves. Like I said, Mike Green's the guy. Like I said, Detroit has a horrible season they're having. A lot of guys' numbers aren't going to look good, but with Green and Athanasiou coming over, they're going to be revitalized and energized, playing with a team that's making a run for the playoffs, and having a veteran like Green in that locker room with some of those younger guys that don't have that experience. Should they make the playoffs, I think that's going to be a huge factor as well. Of course, Anaheim's just been a team that well out of the race, been in a lot of high-scoring battles. They're also 20-6 to the over in the first period in the last 26 games. So I think we're going to see some goals scored by both teams, but I think Edmonton will end up winning on top.
Carm, Anaheim's done. I mean, they were done at the beginning of the season. Now they've lost 4 in a row. They got to feel pretty bad about themselves. They're basically just going to play this string out and get on with golf. What do you like?
Yeah, they're not playing well. They've lost 8 of the past 10 at home. I think they've been outscored like 28-12 over the course of those games. They played a decent game against the Vegas Golden Knights a couple nights ago, but for the most part, they just don't seem like they're competing. And it's one of those things where some teams relish the role of playing the spoiler towards the end of the year, and some teams just can't wait for the off season to start. And the Ducks look like one of those teams. I agree with you in the sense of, or in Alex, I think we're going to see some goals tonight. It's one of those things where let's see if there's an immediate impact by the new Oilers tonight and how they play. It'll be interesting to see how those first couple of lines perform against the Ducks. Yeah, the Ducks have the last change because they're at home, but I think matchup-wise, this is a real good game for the Oilers here. Regulation time, yes, great idea. Puck line, why not? You're getting $1.65 to lay a goal and a half tonight, but I would say the total is probably the best play here.
Guys, before we get into the last minute of play, Alex, did I even ask you about this game?
Yes, you did.
Oh my God, Prez, you're fired. I need like 10 seconds of silence for my stupidity. So I've been watching, I started on Sunday night. I've been watching my favorite sports movies, one a night. I watched Hoosiers on Sunday night. That is a masterpiece. And then I decided to give myself a little Keanu last night. I watched The Replacements. That's a fun movie.
Yep.
Certainly not Hoosiers, but a fun movie nevertheless. And that girl, Brooke, in The Replacements. Mwah. Anyway, guys, put down in their YouTube comments what I should watch tonight. I'm thinking Coach Carter because it's on Netflix, but
Have you seen?
I'm game. I mean, my favorite sports movie of all time is Miracle. I've watched it 20 times. I'm not going to watch it again. I know it off by heart. But let me know what movies you think I should watch for tonight. Also, Vivian's parlays. She doesn't have one ready for the show today, but check her out on @VPresman. She won her parlay last night with Columbus and the over, so congratulations to her. 3 nights in a row, I think, with winning parlays. So check her out at VPresman on Twitter. Okay, boys, last minute of play. Let's race through this. Montreal minus 135 against Vancouver. Markstrom out for a couple of weeks. That to me, like a poker analogy, that's like going card dead before the bubble. Not good for Vancouver. This is one of the best goalies in all of hockey. Montreal, look, every year we see this. 20 games left, they're like 50 points behind. They still think they have a shot. Over and under is 6. I'm passing. Alex?
Yeah, it's a pass for me, too. Thatcher Demko is a net. They were able to get Louis Domingue from New Jersey to kind of fill in that spot for Markstrom being out the next couple of weeks. Montreal has won 9 of the last 10 meetings against Vancouver. So if you want to take a shot with Montreal, it might be this might be the time to do it, but I'm not going to be laying a price with the Habs right now.
Carmine Bianco.
Yeah, first of all, have you seen Remember the Titans?
Yes.
Okay.
Should I watch that one tonight?
You should.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So far, that's in the lead.
Yeah.
Is Gene Hackman the coach? I'm at 2 Gene Hackman coaching positions in a row.
No, it's Denzel Washington.
Oh, yes. Remember the Oh, and Denzel was outstanding in that movie.
Yes, he was. Absolutely. Montreal, Vancouver. You look at the line and you say to yourself, what are the lines makers thinking? Vancouver just blew out Boston 9-3. They're winning games, but it's Demko and net tonight, likely price. And I agree with Alex in the sense of if you have to bet it, and I'm not going to bet it, but if you had to bet it, I would probably take the Montreal Canadiens. They're minus 125 last night when this came out. I thought it was a better bet last night. I think I told you, Prez. Minus 140, I don't want to take them.
Philadelphia minus 234 against San Jose. This is the best team at home in the entire league, playing outstanding hockey, but still need to get some wins. San Jose done. I like Philadelphia minus 1.5 a lot, and I like over the total of 6. Alex?
Philly team total over 3.5. Only laying $1.15.
Love it.
A Sharks team giving up a ton of goals. Philly finally getting some offense rolling. They added some good pieces at the deadline as well. Like I said, best team at home. They should continue to roll with that streak.
Mr. Bianco?
I agree with both of you guys, so I really don't have to add any for, I think, puck line. And as Alex said, I think the Flyers are going to score some goals tonight, so let's go there.
I like the over in the Washington-Winnipeg game. I refuse to take Washington at minus 220, and even Washington in regulation. This team has hit the skids right now. They obviously will turn it around. They're a really good hockey team. Ovi and Covey with each other. It's going to be fun to watch, but I like over 6.5. Carm?
Yeah, this one, I hate always coming on the show and saying pass, but this one's a pass. I want to see, they beat Pittsburgh, Washington last time out, but this Pittsburgh team seems to be struggling right now. They lost to the Sabres, lost to the Leafs, and now lost to Washington, so it's 3.5 for them.
Well, that's really interesting because Pittsburgh isn't in this game.
Sorry, I'm talking about Washington beating Pittsburgh last time out, right?
Yep.
So I think the point I'm trying to make is, they did beat Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh lost to the Sabres, lost to the Leafs. So Pittsburgh might be going through one of those little swamps. So you can't really look at stock and say, wow, they beat the Penguins, they're back. No. I don't know if they're back yet. I need to see a little bit more out of Washington before I start to back them, especially at this price.
Alex?
Both teams need points desperately for different reasons. Obviously, Winnipeg is trying to stay in that wild card race, while Washington's looking to possibly try to get the top of the Metropolitan Division. I'd like a shot here with the draw. It's at plus 355. Wouldn't be shocked to see this one maybe go 2-2 in the overtime, and then probably Washington ends up winning it from there.
Speaking of the draw, I think that's where you got to go in this Carolina-Dallas game. Either that or Dallas, and the reason is, look, I mentioned yesterday, I think the game against the Leafs is going to be a big turning point game for Carolina, and I think they're going to play outstanding hockey for the rest of the season. With that said, the game after such an emotional situation is not a game I want to bet them. I think we're going to see a little hiccup from Carolina, and then they're going to go on a run. I like either the draw or Dallas. Alex?
I like Dallas here. I mean, there's no Zamboni driver in net for the Hurricanes. They've got Alex Nedeljkovic in net, who's actually a decent goalie. He's their goalie of the future. Won a Calder Cup with the Charlotte Checkers in the American Hockey League last year, but possibly could be Anton Forsberg, his backup, who was also in the AHL. Obviously, both guys had to be called up because of the injuries. Like I said, it's a dicey situation. Dallas has won 7 of the last 10 against Carolina, and 5 of the last 7 on the road. I like the Stars in the spot.
Yeah, I'm leaning over here, over 5.5. I know it's a little dicey when you got these teams, but it's not Bishop in net tonight. It's Kubadin in net for the Stars, and Hurricanes have improved. Like I said, it was a very good trade deadline for them, and you've got a rookie goalie in net who's up from the AHL, so we could see some goals tonight.
Detroit, New Jersey. I like New Jersey here. I mean, obviously Detroit is the worst team in years and years, but this New Jersey team is playing hard. There are 3 games below 500, and I think they've got themselves a little bit of a goal for the next 20 or so games. Let's get to 500 and call it a season. Minus 125, that's where my money's going. Carm?
Yeah, like we said, Detroit sold off their assets. Minus 120 for the Devils. It seems like the right price, even though they're not the greatest team themselves. For me, it's Devils or nothing
Alex?
here.
Yeah, I'd take a shot even with Devils in regulation at plus 120. You're getting a better price,
Yeah.
and like I said, the way Detroit's playing right now, it just seems like New Jersey could just kind of coast and
That's a
win.
great call, dude. I told everybody St. Louis would hit the skids in February. I've told everybody St. Louis is over hitting the skids. They're now a bye team for me. I like them in regulation, and I like them at minus 1.5 against a Chicago team that is pretty much done for the year. Alex?
Yeah, the interesting thing is that there's a lot of guys who thought they were going to be getting moved from the Hawks yesterday that didn't. So you might see them relax and kind of be, hey, all right, we're playing out with the team with the guys we've got. Maybe they could rally around and play against the rival a little bit tough. This is a spot where I'd be looking at the draw. I can see this one going to overtime, but if somebody has a win, more than likely it'll be St. Louis.
Mr. Bianco, sir?
Yeah, I had the Blues against Minnesota a couple nights ago. I'm going to continue to ride this Blues team. I think they're starting to string some wins together, and there's 4 wins. They've only allowed 2 goals over those 4 games. Binnington's back to playing the way Binnington is. The Hawks were like we said, were sellers at the trade deadline. That trade to get rid of one of their goalies, I think they had to do that. I think both guys were UFAs. In this offseason, I believe, and getting Subban back. It's not about getting Subban back. It's about having a goalie that they can put with the expansion draft this summer. You need to put a goalie out there, and that's probably going to be Subban who gets put on the list as far as that goes. But as far as this game goes, it's Blues for me.
Alex, Nashville versus Ottawa, and let's just talk quickly playoff picture. Nashville is outside looking in. They have 68 points. They're 2 points behind Calgary and 2 points behind Arizona. But get this, dude. So late in the season, Nashville finds themselves with 4 games in hand against Arizona and 2 games in hand against Calgary, 3 games in hand against Winnipeg. This team controls their own fate, and they're playing a terrible Ottawa team who I grant you played outstanding last night, but this Ottawa team is going to struggle to find goals for the rest of the year. I am telling you, this game is 4-1 Nashville. What do you think?
I think it might even be less than that, but I do think Nashville wins this game. But I like the under here. We've seen the under cash for the last 5 games for Nashville at home, and 7 of the last 10 overall. Except where's Ottawa's offense going to come from? Nashville's been struggling just overall. They've won 4 of the last 6 games, but they have not been pretty games at all. They really get a couple against St. Louis when they were struggling. Managed to just squeak out a 2-1 win against Chicago. Got a 4-3 win against Columbus, a team that had been slumping. So it's not like Nashville's blowing teams out of the water. They'll find a way to win this game, but it probably will be a 2-1, 3-1 game.
He's Alex B. Smith, Sportsmemo.com. Carmine Bianco, WagerTalk. Talk to me, brother.
Yeah, it's Anderson and Saros in goal tonight in all likelihood. Sens in these, this is a back-to-back for them. They lost 4-3 last night, but this is also their third in 4 nights. I believe my numbers show them as 1-4 when they're playing their third in 4 nights. which isn't a great thing for them. Anderson's not that great. His splits, I don't like his splits. 323 goals against average, .898 save percentage. Saros is in net. And Saros has been if you look at Saros's post All-Star record in the second half of the season, he's got a very good record. He thrives on it. So, and he's in goal tonight. I have to like Nashville here. They've won 5 straight at home against this Sens team. They've won 3 of the last 4. One of those 4-1, 5-1 games, maybe.
That's what I think. Listen, nobody needs help from us with what to do when Columbus plays. Just take overtime. 8 of their last 11 games have gone to overtime. It is absolutely ridiculous. You're getting plus 300, give or take, every single time out. It's just bank all day long. And they're playing a Minnesota team tonight, Alex, which says overtime all over themselves as well. 2-2 game going into overtime, and who knows what will happen. That's where I'm going.
I think it might be a 3-3
Fair
game
enough.
going overtime, which means I'm looking at the over as well. But I agree with you completely. Like I said, both these teams have been playing longer than 60 minutes. But you look at the defense issues for both teams, especially the Wild. They tend to give up goals at home, and they're pretty much playing for exercise at this point. Didn't make that many moves. Tried to move Prez to the Islanders, and that deal fell through at the last hour. But Guerin made it known that, hey, you guys are playing for your jobs moving forward. So we might see some effort and energy there, but I wouldn't be shocked to see this one 3-3 going to overtime and decide who wins after that.
Best thing that Trotz can do for
Torts.
Oh my God, Torts. So the best thing Torts can do for his team on the plane ride to Minnesota was just show them the celebration at the end of the game, so they know what it feels like to celebrate a win. And you know what? Plus 145. And I like the fact that Korpisalo is back in net. Elvis left the building last night injured. No pun intended, or maybe pun intended. Korpisalo is going to be back in net tonight. And I think, even though it's a back-to-back, plus 145, I am willing to take a Jackets team who can play defense. And Minnesota's struggling a bit at home. So give me the Jackets. Give me plus 145 tonight.
Arizona, Florida. Arizona minus 130. Over and under is 6. Obviously, I'm cheering against Florida in every game, but I don't bet with my heart. I like Arizona here, and I think the fact that they did not do anything at the trade deadline might actually be a positive for them in the sense that this team is being really called out in the sense nobody thinks they're going to make the playoffs now, especially with Nashville and all their games in hand. Winnipeg just below them. I think Arizona gets it done tonight. Minus 130. I like them. But I also could see this game going into overtime. Alex?
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked to see it OT as well. Both teams needing points. We talked about how that's something to look at. If the game's tied close, no one's going to risk going forward and missing out, getting no points at all. You're going to want to try and at least get 1 point in the standings. That's important right now. But I think Arizona gets the job done at home. I think they can keep that momentum rolling off that big winning.
Carmine Bianco.
Yeah, one of the things that obviously Arizona is looking forward to tonight is Darcy Comfort back in net, back in goal. He's been injured for quite a while. He had a really nice tune-up for Tucson in the AHL. And, Florida sold off, or not sold off, but they got rid of Trocheck, which, I understand that's a salary move for next season because they would have had to pay him $10 million. So, they're going to have to re-sign some players. But, one of those, it's just one of those games where if you ask Dave Koken, this is what he's going to tell you. Teams that come out of Vegas or played Vegas and head to Arizona or head anywhere in their next game don't do very well. What is the record of teams that played in Vegas this year in their next game? They're 9-26. Their next game out. So there's something to it. Maybe there's something in that Vegas water. I think Florida's probably looking ahead to, they've got a 5-game homestand coming up, and next up are the Toronto Maple Leafs, the team that they need to beat. So maybe the focus isn't there. They started this trip off very well, winning the first 2, but they looked pretty bad against both Vegas and the LA Kings. Arizona for me here. And then I'll be looking forward to watching that Florida-Toronto game.
I got my game tonight, boys. 10:30 start time. The line is set at the other team -7. I take them. I'm the Prez. That's the show, boys. Make sure to get on Tony's baseball season. It's the last day of the offer. Tony 695. You'll regret not buying it. Carmine's the $2 Tuesday at WagerTalk. Teddy covers at Sportsmemo. Tomorrow's show, Alex and Andrew, or Alex and Carmine, or me by myself. Could you imagine me doing a show by myself? Challenge accepted. Sunday. I will do a show by myself on Sunday. I just will not put it online. Later, boys.
See you guys.